What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Ewaz. Hey, Earthlings out there. Today we are going to be eating breakfast. Finally, we get to eat a breakfast meal. It's been quite a few weeks, honestly, since we all sat down and had breakfast. I definitely want to do more breakfast with you guys. So come on, let's get into this topics. All right, you guys, time to get it started today. Like I said, we're eating breakfast. And we're going to talk about something that's very kind of touchy or whatever. But let me tell you what's on the menu. So today we are eating cheese eggs with waffles and syrup, along with sausage links and some nice cup of coffee. So let's go ahead. Sarah Grace. All right. And coat our throat. You got to coat your throat. Oh, this is coffee this time, y'all. I need some energy because I got a big day today, so. Oh yeah, that is perfect. That was so good. Like a nice sip. So let's go ahead and eat. All right, y'all. Ooh, got some sausage. See, I let the sausage get a little warm. But they need to be steaming hot. Let me try these eggs. Eggs is hitting now. The eggs is hitting definitely. I forgot to tell you, these are actually blueberry waffles. Just the regular Eggos that you get from the grocery store. I ain't making them from scratch. I told you I ain't one for the kitchen. I could do a little 1-2. But eventually this year, I actually, I'm not going to say I'm not one for the kitchen because I actually can cook. I just don't cook. But I want to speak positive. I'm going to be a great cook this year. I'm going to learn how to cook this year. I'm going to cook lavish, luxury, big meals. These type of waffles, you can just pick up and eat with your hand, child. Low-key make a sandwich out of it. Honestly, breakfast is my favorite meal. You can eat that any time of the day. I love breakfast. A nice cup of Joe. Where did they get that from? Somebody tell me, where did they get that from? A nice cup of Joe. Why is coffee called Joe? And who the hell is Joe? Oh, that was soothing. Very much so soothing. Okay. Speaking of Joe, y'all, let's get into it. So recently I was online. I was watching the Neighborhood Talk online. It's the Instagram page. And it was a video of India Arie that came up. Everybody knows I love India Arie. I love her music. I love her artistry. I love her craft. Everything about India Arie, her aura, her spirit, everything about her. I just love her. She decides that she no longer wants her music to be on Spotify's platform. I'm a Spotify user, a heavy one. I don't really use iTunes, but I have it. But I use Spotify. It has all my collections and everything. So I'm like, oh, no. Even India Arie is in my Spotify collection. So when she said that, I was like, oh Lord, what's going on? She had an issue. Well, she has an issue with Joe Rogan. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with that, but I first was introduced to Joe Rogan on a show called Fear Factor. And Joe was the host of Fear Factor. So, Joe Rogan, over his expanded career, he's done podcasts, numerous TV shows. He's big now. Over the course of his lifetime of his career, he got caught saying the N-word multiple times. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 times, 2 or 3 times. No. I'm talking about 15, 20 times, like a lot. And it was a video. What is it like put together? It was compilation. It was a compilation of videos. Just short little 3-second clips of him saying nigga, 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 the N-word, the N-word, the N-word, the N-word, 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 N-word. I don't even want to say the word. The N-word. And it's like, wow.
I'm gonna leave a short message here about why I decided to ask my music be pulled off of Spotify. So check this out.
Like, you know,
saying the word Nick.
You've already said
Is just like Nick. Saying Nick.
she's calling you a Nick.
Like this boy that he's a Nick. And starts calling him Nick. Or Nick. There should be a word like Nick. Especially like the word Nick. That's our Nick. He says Nick. And then our Nick starts saying Nick. Do you use the word Nick?
I empathize with the people who are leaving for the COVID disinformation reasons, and I think that they should. I also think that Joe Rogan has the right to say what he wants to say. I also think that I have the right to say what I want to say. So as an artist who builds, Spotify is built on the back of the music streaming. So they take this money that's built from streaming and they pay this guy $100 million, but they pay us 0.003% of a penny.
So India Arie decides, she says, listen, you guys are not going to make pay this guy $1 million for his podcast when he disrespects our people like this and think that it's okay to do this. And then you guys want to pay me 0.0003 on a dollar? That's insane. So in my head, I'm like, India Arie is my girl. And I'm down for the cause, I'm down for my people. So I'm going to have to really reconsider Spotify. So this morning, I was so happy. I actually saw Joe Rogan on the Neighborhood Talk. And he actually made a really good apology. And I want you guys to hear it out and take a look for yourself. Here it goes.
Hello, friends. I'm making this video to talk about the most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast, and it's all smushed together, and it looks fucking horrible, even to me. Now, I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years, but for a long time, when I would bring that word up, like if it would come up in conversation, instead of saying the N-word, I would just say the word. I thought as long as it was in context, people would understand what I was doing. Like that context was part of the clip we were talking about Red Fox, how Red Fox said that word on television in the 1970s and how times have changed so much since then. Or about how Richard Pryor used it as one of the titles of one of his albums. Or I was quoting a Lenny Bruce bit, or I was quoting a Paul Mooney bit, or I was talking about how Quentin Tarantino used it repeatedly in Pulp Fiction. Or I was talking about how a Netflix executive, ironically, used it because he was trying to compare it to another offensive word, and he said it out loud, and they fired him. Not calling anybody or just saying the word out loud. I was also talking about how there's not another word like it in the entire English language, because it's a word where only one group of people is allowed to use it, and they can use it in so many different ways. Like if a white person says that word, it's racist and toxic, but a black person can use it, and it could be a punchline, it could be a term of endearment, it could be lyrics to a rap song, it could be a positive affirmation. It's a very unusual word, but it's not my word to use. I'm well aware of that now, but for years I used it in that manner. I never used it to be racist because I'm not racist, but whenever you're in a situation where you have to say, I'm not racist, you fucked up. And I clearly have fucked up. And that's my intention to express myself in this video, to say, there's nothing I can do to take that back. I wish I could. Obviously, that's not possible. I do hope that, if anything, that this can be a teachable moment. Because I never thought it would ever be taken out of context and put in a video like that. And now that it is, holy shit, it looks bad. And it's part of also me doing this podcast for thousands of hours, thousands of episodes, over 12 years. I've said a lot of fucking stupid shit, which is fine when you're talking about most things, but not when you're talking about race. And there's another clip that I have to address. There's a clip from 11 years ago. I was telling a story on the podcast about how me and my friend Tommy and his girlfriend, we got really high. We were in Philadelphia and we went to go see Planet of the Apes. And we didn't know where we were going. We just got dropped off by a cab and we got dropped off in this all black neighborhood. And I was trying to make the story entertaining. And I said, we got out and it was like we were in Africa. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes, but it sure fucking sounded like that. And I immediately afterwards said, that's a racist thing to say. Planet of the Apes wasn't even in Africa. I was just saying there's a lot of black people there. But then I went on to talk about what a positive experience it was and how much fun it was to go to see this movie in a black neighborhood. It wasn't a racist story, but it sounded terrible. And like I said, you can have clunky stories about anything, but not about race. And so I deleted that whole podcast, but obviously somebody made a clip out of it and taken out of context. It looks terrible, but it looks terrible even in context. It's a fucking idiotic thing to say. And I was just trying to be entertaining. I certainly wasn't trying to be racist. And I certainly would never want to offend someone for entertainment with something as stupid as racism. My hope is that, look, I can't go back in time and change what I've said. I wish I could. Obviously, that's not possible. But I do hope that this can be a teachable moment for anybody that doesn't realize how offensive that word can be coming out of a white person's mouth, in context or out of context. My sincere and humble apologies. I wish there was more that I could say, but all of this is just me talking from the bottom of my heart. It makes me sick watching that video, but hopefully at least some of you will accept this and understand where I'm coming from. My apologies and much love. My sincere, deepest apologies and much love.
After that apology right there, I honestly feel like it was sincere, genuine. I believe that he may have been in story time or referencing something, but not necessarily him calling it to someone or saying it to someone. Does not give it an excuse or make it right. It just leads to understanding. And that's the thing that a lot of people get hung up on, is who's wrong or who's right. No, sometimes you have to lead to an understanding of the situation. I understand the situation. Do I agree with him or his actions or what he said? No. I agree with his apology, though. I think that it is a very unique word. There isn't any other word like that. And for black people to take that word back and use it as a sense of empowerment is a cultural thing. It's our thing. As a white person, you should not even want to say it. Honestly, like, for what? You know? I get why black people use it, but I mean, I like to just call people by their name. Me personally. I call them by their name, or I call them friend, sister, love, bro, sis, poo, baby boo boo. Y'all know I got Bob and Bunky. So, you know, I give people nicknames. The M word has never been like that heavy on my vocabulary like that. Being a black gay male and being able to have the privilege to use it in a way of empowerment and having the what do I want to say? Having the right to use it in a way of not empowering black people. Do I want to be called that word by a white person? No. Do I have white friends who have used that word? Yes. And some of them I grew up with as a child, like young. And my cousins are half white, half black. The ones that I grew up with, like in the same house, sleeping on our grandmother's floor, Big Mama's floor, like they're half white. So they used it, and we grew up. It was fine because we knew them. They were our cousins. They were our friends, our neighbors, and it was never used in a way, in a racial way. Even if they said it angrily, like N-word please, or something. They never used it racially to harm or to hurt us. So it's a very fine line. It's a very, very, very thin, fine line. Because I never thought to stop them from saying it. It was so normal. Because like I said, we slept on the same floor together. We didn't see color. We didn't see color, you know. Although we knew our cousins were mixed and we knew we were black, when it came to the dialect or the dialogue, we didn't see color. And we were young at the time. We did not know. Now, us being older, where my cousins probably still say it, yeah, they probably will still say it because it's their norm. Would they just randomly say it to somebody else? No. Never. Ever. They would never, ever do that. Never do that. So, like I said, y'all, I don't know. I want y'all to tell me what y'all think about Joe Rogan's apology, honestly. Because I feel like it was sincere. And I feel like he was right. Anytime you have to question yourself about racism or, you know, or have to prove yourself that you're not a racist, you know who you are. You know, you shouldn't have to prove who you are. It'll show. Lord Jesus. See, look at that. Already. Yes. I want to hear what y'all got to think about it because everybody's perspective is different. Y'all know I'm not here to judge. In EWAS world, we do not judge. We don't judge. We may kick you off the island now. May get kicked off the planet, but we ain't gonna judge you. But you can get kicked off the planet. People don't get kicked off of EWAS world. One thing about me, people leave on their own. I can't kick you off. In my past career, when I was in HR, I didn't fire people. People fired themselves. You know the rules, you know the boundaries. People know the rules and they know the boundaries when they come to EY's world, when they're part of my situation. You overstep that, you'll leave yourself. You'll dismiss yourself. This is how it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Oh, did y'all also catch that part in the podcast in the apology, where he said like he was in Africa and him and his friends, and he said, wow, it feels like I'm surrounded by Planet of the Apes. What? I was like, oh, hell no. Now that, outside of all the N-word stuff, which my really good friend, Lady, make sure y'all go follow her, hit her up. She actually pointed that little part out to me. She said, Eli, outside of all the racist stuff, the end stuff, the real racism is when you make those kind of comments. Forget the N-word. Those kind of comments right there shows who your character is. You didn't think to assume being in Africa, getting out of the car and saying it looks like Planet of the Apes when you're surrounded by predominantly black people in Africa. That ain't, you thought that was funny? You really thought that was funny? How dare you, Joe Rogan? How dare you? All I know is, I think he gets it. I accept his apology. But little stuff like that, I will forget. But one thing about me, my people, we can't forgive. And you deserve forgiveness. You get it. And me speaking for myself, my earthlings, I think Joe Rogan deserves our forgiveness. Well, I forgive you. As a black person in America. Period. Oh, y'all, this is so good. I've sobbed it up a little bit. All right. Like I said, y'all, I got a very long day ahead of me, and food was delicious. It was great. Yes, I am in the bathroom. We're doing renovations in the house, so kitchen. You know. Chipmunk cheeks, y'all. Y'all know how I do. Oh, that was delicious. Thank y'all so much for having breakfast with me. Till next time, till our next topic. Ewat's World. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Zap out!